Is it Tebow time in New York?
Is it Brady Quinn time in Kansas City?
The wait is over.
Episode 2 is here.
You show the lights that stop me, turn to stone. You shine it when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong and dreaming when they're gone, 'cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the...
Welcome to Badaanchi Talk. I'm Matt Bianchi and this is Daniel Badaanchi. Today's show will begin with our viewer video of the week, which comes from Martin in El Paso, Texas. Andrew Luck and his upset win against the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you everybody who submitted the topic of the week. We appreciate it, Martin.
Next, we'll get into Danny Amendola's near-death injury this past week against the Arizona Cardinals and what the NFL would have done in the event of his death.
And I'm a season ticket holder of the El Paso Miners, and I need to tell you about Mike Price.
We'll then get to our main topic about this week, which is certain starting quarterbacks in the NFL and whether or not they need to be benched.
And like always, we'll end the show with our NFL pick, so I hope you enjoy.
You know what, though? We did receive one submission for Hot Fan of the Week.
Oh, that's right. Have you seen it?
No, I have not, but I'm pretty excited. Would you put that up for us, please?
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Abel Garcia, for that submission. Ladies, can you please send us a photo next week?
Email, Facebook,
Twitter,
anything.
Moving on.
Let's get to that viewer topic of the week. Andrew Luck and his upset win against Green Bay.
My eyes are bleeding.
Some simple stats for that anyway. Andrew Luck went 31 for 55. That's 362 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That's a pretty good day, especially for a rookie in the NFL. But more impressive is his last drive against the Green Bay Packer defense. 13 plays, 81 yards. He wound off 3 minutes, 55 seconds. He even ran for 7 yards. And that last touchdown that he threw to Reggie Wayne, that was fantastic.
A great catch by Reggie Wayne.
This is an amazing win for a young rookie, if you want my honest opinion. He's showing he can lead this team to victory, and in a very tough situation, mind you.
This is what the Colts wanted when they drafted him. There was a little bit of the Stanford old days. Andrew Luck has a bright future.
And more importantly, this was a very heartfelt win for Chuck Pagano. And now on to the next segment of our show. Viewer discretion advised. It's not the prettiest of videos. Danny Amendola's injury last Thursday against the Cardinals could have been a lot worse than it was. So there's a bit of good news, but it could have been a story of tragedy. I have a couple of videos lined up to explain it, and the first is here. After missing the entirety of last season with a dislocated elbow that occurred in Week 1, St. Louis Rams wide receiver Danny Amendola was poised for a comeback. He was ready to step up and be the playmaker this team needed. But upon trying to make a big play against the Arizona Cardinals last Thursday night, he fell and awkwardly landed with all of his body weight on his right shoulder. As he stared up at the Jumbotron, he knew that the damage had already been done, which was shown in his locker room explosion. But did he know how much damage was truly done? Now, at first glimpse, it looked like just maybe a shoulder dislocation or stinger, but it was actually a lot worse than that and could have been even worse. He dislocated his clavicle. The severity of that I will explain to you now in the second video. When Amendola fell, he actually managed to dislocate his collarbone inwards. Now, in most cases, the clavicle will dislocate outwards, leaving no risk of further bodily harm. But in Amendola's extremely rare case, it dislocated inwards, towards his subclavian artery, depicted in this picture, which was located directly under the clavicle. Had this have happened, he would have bled out in minutes.
It also came close to rupturing his trachea, which would have caused him to suffocate while he was bleeding out. With this in mind, it's no wonder Danny Amendola was so frustrated heading into the locker room, because this injury nearly killed him.
Now, this loss means a lot to the St. Louis Rams. In these past few games, Amendola had already racked up 32 receptions for 395 yards and 2 touchdowns. Back in 2010, he had 85 receptions for 689 yards, 2 touchdowns. That year, the Rams finished 7-9, which has been their best record since 2004. Last season, when Amendola was out, now granted, Bradford, Jackson, 8 defensive backs, and several key O-linemen were in and out of injured reserve throughout the season as well, but when Amendola was out all of last season, Bradford, when he did play, didn't have a target, not even with Brandon Lloyd there, so the Rams finished 2-14 now. I don't know if the Rams can keep up this 3-2 start. Danny Amendola is definitely the key to this team. My only question here is, had Amendola, now we'll knock on wood here, had Amendola died on the field, how do you think the NFL would have handled it, and what would it have meant to the NFL?
All I know is it would have been everywhere on Live with Kelly. It would have talked about it, would have been the tragedy of the year. Roger Goodell would have probably had a week of no football to gather things, pay for Amendola's funeral, and forward. It would have been very sad to watch for every sports fan in general.
I think if this ever does happen, I don't think they should even continue the game. I don't know how you could with a dead player on the field. With that being said, our thoughts and prayers go out to Amendola.
Hope you have a speedy recovery. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I'm a diehard Miners fan and I'm a season ticket holder. And it's been a very frustrated season. The Miners have so much potential and they've only had 1 win so far. I'm a believer in Mike Price, but I think it's time for him to go. And when I hear people in back of me in the rows telling me, "Oh, they're so good for an El Paso team, dude," that's not the point. Here's a short video.
Since 1980, the UTEP Miners have been to 5 bowls. All were losses. 3 were under Mike Price. 04, 05, and 10. What Price has done to the UTEP program and to the city of El Paso has been great. They need to win 6 of their next 7 games to go to a bowl. They play 5-1 Tulsa, and if they don't win this season, it looks like Price is out the door. I do agree it's time for new blood, but not for the same reason Miner fans do. He's done great for the program. He's the best football coach the Miners have, and he's underappreciative. I wish the best for whatever happens in the end of the season for Mike Price.
And now for the title segment of this show.
Time for the backups.
We're going to play a little game here called Bench Him or Keep Him.
And down in Seattle, Russell Wilson or Matt Flynn?
Just a couple of stats. The career completion percentage, season completion percentage really, he's only played 1 year. For Russell Wilson is 63.2 for 815 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You compare that to Matt Flynn's career stats. He's only thrown 3 more passes for 200 more yards and 4 more touchdowns. Also, with Matt Flynn, you're paying the guy on a 3-year contract worth $26 million with $10 million guaranteed. How do you pay your backup that kind of money? I'm going to put this to you, Daniel. Bench him or keep him, Russell Wilson?
Keep him. Matt Flynn has just had 1 good game with the Packers' talent last year. He never deserved the money to begin with. And Russell Wilson is great. He's around the build, around the Seahawks talent, and he'll be good.
I'm going to contradict you here. I'm going to say bench him. Let him learn under Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn is a veteran in this league. He is a proven veteran. Now, although Russell Wilson has won 3 games, it hasn't really been because of his play. It's because of that stellar defense.
And it's the replacement refs too.
And the replacement refs gave them a win in Green Bay. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
With Russell Wilson there, It's obvious he's the quarterback that Seattle has chosen for their future, but give the kid a break right now. Give your defense a break and let him develop. Bench him.
All right, and Kansas City, Matt Castle or Brady Quinn?
You look at Matt Castle this season, he's got a 58.5 completion percentage, which looks terrible, but his career completion percentage is 58.9. That's almost exactly identical. Now, he's also thrown 5 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. You look at Brady Quinn, he's only started, in his 6-year career, 15 games, counting the game he played in Baltimore this past week, where he went 3 for 3 for 32 yards. So what do you do there in Kansas City with Matt Castle? Bench him or keep him?
Bench him. Brady Quinn. The same thing that I think about Matt Flynn. Matt Castle was only good because he had other team's talent. He was great with the Patriots, but when he went to KC, he wasn't the same. And a side note on it, I don't believe the fans should be bullying him after he got hurt.
Well, to go off of what you just said there, when the fans are cheering for your injury, you've lost all respect to that team. Bench him. Matt Castle's turned the ball over way too many times. He's not playing well. Give Quinn a chance. He may not be a proven quarterback, and he may not be the quarterback of the future, but he's going to make a nice change of pace. The fans want him, and Castle's not providing for that team. It's Quinn time in Kansas City.
All right, now in Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, which there's no love in Philly. Michael Vick or Nick Foles?
Now, with Michael Vick this season, he's been pretty much labeled the turnover king. He's
a king of something, though.
He's thrown 6 interceptions, but he's got like 3 fumbles in the pocket, 5 on the run. Only a few of those have actually gone for turnovers, but he's dropping the ball way too many times, and to only throw 6 touchdowns, that's not really going to cut it in this league. You look at Nick Foles, and he's an unproven rookie out of Arizona. I mean, he had a nice preseason, but what do we know about this kid other than that? So what do you say, Daniel, with Michael Vick? Bench him or keep him?
Keep him. Michael Vick has had his terrible problems, but all of his wins because of him. The last-second touchdown pass, the last-second rush touchdown, all because of Vick.
I'm going to agree with you. Keep him. He may be turning the ball over a lot, but he's doing enough to win and come up in the clutch. If you look at this team is not really as good as they should be, and it's
no dream team.
It's not a good situation to throw a young rookie quarterback in. I don't want to see Nick Foles be put in that situation. Hey, at the end of the season, you don't like where Vic's going, move on with Nick Foles and see if he's your future. But for right now, definitely keep Michael Vick.
And Buffalo, Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tyler Thigpen?
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick this season is struggling, but I don't think it's as bad as it looks. His 58.3 completion percentage, not that great, but he has thrown 12 touchdowns to go along with that, 8 interceptions, and the record's only 2-3. But if you look at Tyler Thigpen, he's a career backup. He is, however, an athletic quarterback, and that does bring a certain edge to your offense. So what do you think with Ryan Fitzpatrick in Buffalo? Bench him or keep him?
I say keep him. I always like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He did decent last year, and he's only going to get better.
I agree with you. Definitely keep him. Ryan Fitzpatrick's struggling a little, but he's still performing at a really high level. It's not time to resort to a career backup like Tyler Thigpen. If you feel he's still not performing the way you want later in the season, then go and draft a quarterback high, but Thigpen's not your answer.
And give him a razor, too.
Keep Fitzpatrick.
My team, the Dallas Cowboys, Romo or Kyle Orton.
Now, if you watched the show last week, then you heard a lot about Tony Romo and his stats. This is going to be repetitive for those of you who watched last week, but 66.9 completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions. But we have established that at least 4 of those interceptions were not his fault last week's show, for those of you who didn't watch it.
If not, you could go back and watch it.
As far as Kyle Orton, he replaced Romo last week, went 9 for 10, 89 yards and a touchdown. But over the years, he's bounced around between teams. He's never had an eye-opening season, but he's still solid at quarterback play. So what do you do here in Dallas with Tony Romo? Bench him or keep him?
Did you just ask me that question?
It's got to be asked.
You gotta be serious right now. I believe in Tony Romo. Tony Romo is the best quarterback the Dallas Cowboys ever had since Troy Aikman. He has the stats. He has a great percentage. He's a winner. He just needs his receiver and his team to win with him and rally.
Well, if you watched the show last week, then you already know how I feel about Romo. Keep him. Kyle Orton's not going to win you a Super Bowl, and he's not the same game changer that Tony Romo is. Romo is a gunslinger. He does take risks. Sometimes it succeeds, sometimes it fails. But this team as a whole has got to get moving. Then you'll see a lot more success and failure out of Tony Romo. Keep him.
And Cleveland, Brandon Whedon or Colt McCoy?
Or even Thaddeus Lewis. If you look at Brandon Whedon this year, the rookie, he's thrown over 200 passes. Now, he's thrown almost 1,300 yards, but his completion percentage is just over 55. 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a couple of fumbles, and the biggest problem here, 0 wins. Colt McCoy's career win-loss record is 6-15. His stats are mediocre at best, but he's a mobile quarterback and a game changer. Now, as far as Thaddeus Lewis is concerned, he's never been a starter in the NFL. If you do look at the time he spent in St. Louis, though, during the preseason, he performed really well, but with Sam Bradford there, you were not going to start Thaddeus Lewis over him. Likely, all 3 of these guys, in my opinion, will end up career backups at best, but what do you think you do with Brandon Whedon? Bench him or keep him? And if you bench him, who do you put in for him?
I say keep Brandon Whedon. I like Brandon Whedon. I saw him the last week and he was doing great. He had great plays. He has great accuracy. He just needs better receivers. I also like McCoy, but if I had to choose, Whedon.
Well, as far as Brandon Whedon is concerned, in my opinion, bench him. Put McCoy back out there. I get it. You went out there. You wasted a high draft pick on Brandon Whedon, and you think that you got to develop this kid. But let's face it, he's never going to be a starting quarterback in this league. He is a career backup at best, just like Thaddeus Lewis. McCoy may not be your long-term option, but he's a clear-cut best option out of the 3. Let the kid grow. Stop trying to replace him so fast. McCoy time, people.
In New York, and no, not New York as in Giants, as in the Jets, Jets. Sanchez or Tebow?
This is going to be our last one, and for obvious reasons. Mark Sanchez this season with a 48.3 completion percentage, and everybody says, wow, that's awful, but Tim Tebow's career completion percentage is only 47.5. He has accounted for 17 touchdowns in his career passing and 12 touchdowns rushing. This season, Sanchez, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 4 fumbles, but only one of those was lost. What do you do here with Mark Sanchez? Do you keep him, or is it Tebow time?
It's Tebow time, and it's been Tebow time for a long while. Rex Ryan, lay off scratching your feet and start Tebow. It's been a while. He's a winner. All he does is win games. Every time you put him for 2 or 3 snaps in every game, he does something with that. Leave him in for a quarter. See what he does. Let him get in the rhythm of the game. You will make it to the playoffs. Do it now before it's too late.
Well, let me tell you what I think you need to do with Mark Sanchez. Bench him. I like Mark Sanchez, but the Tebow chants are getting loud, and the team morale is getting low. Tebow's not a great passer, but he's a fantastic leader. And with playmakers wearing thin on this team, you need some kind of game changer out there, and Mark Sanchez isn't that. Tebow can make plays with his legs and with his arm when he has to. He averages over 5 yards per carry in his career when he's under center at the regular quarterback. This season under Wildcats only 4, but you're going to get the same amount of completed passes out of both of these guys looking at their numbers, so you might as well go with the athlete. Sorry, Mark, I like you, but it is Tebow time in New York.
Tebow! Whoa!
And we've come to the last segment of our show where we make our picks for this Sunday's NFL games. Now, generally we would do this show on Thursday, but due to scheduling conflicts, we're doing it on Wednesday. We're not going to pick the Thursday night game. It's not going to count towards our standings, but just so you know, everybody picked Pittsburgh. Moving on to the actual picks, the first game we have is the Oakland Raiders visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Daniel Badajosa, what do you pick?
I picked the Raiders. I like Carson Palmer. The Raiders beat the Steelers early on in the season. They can beat good teams. The Falcons won't be undefeated anymore.
I struggled with this one. I really wanted to pick Oakland in the upset, but I cannot go against Matty Ice. He's playing as the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm taking Atlanta. The producer is taking Atlanta, and we have guest picks this week. Who did the guest take?
Abel Garcia,
Our sexy chick of the week.
it hurts me to say it.
But who did he pick?
He picked Oakland.
So that's 2 Oakland and 2 Atlanta. That's split right down the middle.
He's not the sexiest guy, but he's a smart man.
I don't know. I thought he was pretty attractive. Next pick, you got Cincinnati visiting the Cleveland Browns. Who are you going to take in this one, Daniel?
I got the Browns.
It's going to be close. I don't like Brandon Weeden. As long as he's there, I'm going to pick against him, and I'm going to take Cincinnati. The producer is going to take Cincinnati, and our guest of the week,
He's going to take Cincinnati as well.
so you're the lone wolf there with Cleveland. St. Louis at Miami.
I got Miami. Reggie Bush is going to be the all-time leading rusher this season.
I'm going to take Miami. I'm sorry, St. Louis, but I'm going to have to go against you without Danny Amendola.
True fan.
I don't know what they're going to do without Danny Amendola. If Brandon Gibson emerges as the star,
You
then
don't
so
think
be it.
they'll rally for him?
They're going to have to find the target for Bradford, and until I know who that target is, I'm going to have to pick against him. My producer's going to pick against him as well, so that's 3 picks for Miami, but our guest pick...
He has the Rams.
So we-
Sam the man.
Sam the man. He does believe in Sam Bradford. Moving on to the next pick, Indianapolis at the New York Jets. Who do you got?
I got the Jets. Oh, it's Tebow time. It has to be.
Bro. Whoa! That disturbing sound is coming from our producer who is taking Indianapolis. However, the reason he's picking Indianapolis, he says, is because there's no Tebow time in New York, and until that happens, they will not win. I'm going to agree with him and take Indianapolis, and our guest pick,
He got Indianapolis too.
Detroit at Philadelphia.
I got Philly. Michael Vick is gonna be clutch again and win in a close game.
I got Philly as well. The director, however, is going to take this upset and take Detroit, even though Matthew Stafford's not playing well. I don't know what he's thinking there, but we'll see it. And the guest picks,
He picks Philadelphia as well.
that means the director's standing alone with Detroit there. The next game this coming Sunday morning is going to be the Dallas Cowboys visiting Joe Elite Flacco, and the Baltimore Ravens. Who do you pick?
Everybody went Cowboys here. Hopefully it happens. It's a must-win for them early on in the season. If they lose, it's going to go downhill from here.
True, all 4 of us took the Dallas Cowboys, and I agree with you. It is definitely a must-win in Dallas. The last morning game on the schedule is Kansas City visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Won't be surprised if the Bucs win. Josh Freeman gets better every game, but I got Kansas City.
I got Kansas City as well, and the reason I got Kansas City is that Matt Castle is not going to play this week due to injury, which means it is Quinn time in Kansas City. Time for a change of pace there. The producer's going to take Tampa Bay, however, and our guest is going to take?
He's going to take Kansas City as well.
That means, once again, the producer's standing alone. Getting into the afternoon games this Sunday, you got New England visiting the Seattle Seahawks.
You can't pick against Tom Brady.
I don't think you can pick against Tom Brady either. New England, the producer picks New England. However, our guest picks
Seattle
in the upset. That is
the 12th man, baby.
the 12th man. Definitely is going to play a part. I think it's going to be close, but New England's got to win this game. Buffalo at Arizona.
I got Buffalo. Ryan Fitzpatrick will have 3 TDs in this game.
I got Arizona. I don't think that Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to throw well against that Arizona Cardinals secondary. The producer's got Arizona, and our guest,
He has Arizona too.
the Giants and the San Francisco 49ers, a rematch of the NFC Championship last season. Who do you think is going to win it?
I got San Francisco. It's going to be a different outcome from last season. They want revenge, and you can't pick against Jim Harbaugh.
The producer and the guest are both going to pick San Francisco as well, but you know what? I think the Giants have the 49ers number, and if anybody's going to knock them off their pedestal this year, it's got to be the NYG Giants, and I got Eli Elite winning this one over Alex Smith. The next and final afternoon game that we have this week is going to be the Minnesota Vikings visiting the Washington Redskins.
RG3 will be playing for all those fantasy players out there. He's going to do a decent game coming back, and he'll lead the Redskins to a win.
You're going to stand alone there. The rest of us are going to take Minnesota. You keep picking against Minnesota. You're still surprised at them. And they keep winning.
They do keep proving me wrong, but I'm not into Minnesota yet. They need to do a good win.
I like Christian Ponder coming out of the draft, just so everybody knows. Now you get to the Sunday night game. You got the Green Bay Packers visiting the undefeated Houston Texans.
The undefeated Texans will be no more. No undefeated teams after this week. Aaron Rodgers.
The producer agrees wholeheartedly with you. He's got Green Bay in the upset, but I just think the Texans are going to win the Super Bowl. I said it last week. I'll say it again. 6-0. Houston beats the struggling Green Bay Packers. And the guest?
He has the Texans as well.
Thank you. Monday night, Denver Broncos at San Diego Chargers. Now, the San Diego Chargers just lost a Sunday night game, and now they have a Monday night game. Who do you got winning this week?
You know, Peyton Manning's giving 2 million Domino pizzas. Oh, but that's besides the point. I got Peyton Manning winning.
It says here I picked San Diego, but that is entirely incorrect. I picked Denver to win this one, and so did our producer. Our guest, however,
He has the Chargers. For some reason, he likes Phillip Rivers.
and that wraps it up for this week. In case you didn't catch last week, the pick standing stood with me, the producer, at 11-2, and Daniel Badarosa sitting lonely at 5-8.
My name's not Danny Balahosa.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our show. We will see you next week. This has been Badaanchi Talk with Matt Bianchi
And Danny Balahosa. Take care.